Stay is 4.2 proportions with percents. A VCR with a sell price of $239.40 is advertised as at 40% off. What was the original price? Okay, so $239.40 is the discount. Okay, our original price is what we want to find. Discount price original price. Or whole. That's what I like to call it. The whole. Equals. And 40% off, okay, is what we have. And it's always, percentage is always going to be over 100. Well, 40% off is not what we have left. 60% is what we have left. 100 minus 40. If we cross multiply, we end up with 60x equals 23940, or 23,940. Divide by 60. X equals $399. That is the original price. Write each percent as a decimal and as a fraction or mixed number in simplest form. To write a percent as a decimal, you need to move the decimal 2 places to the left. So here's where the decimal's at. Okay, we move it, and we end up with 0.75 for our decimal. To write it as a fraction would be 75 over 100, because this is the 100th spot, and you end up with, that reduces to 3/4. Okay, 110, the decimal's right there. You move it 2, you end up with 1.1. Do not need to write the 0. Okay, and then to write that as a mixed number would be 1 and 1 over 10, because it's in the 10 spot. That does not reduce, and that is your fraction. That is your decimal. Okay, move this one 2 places to the right. Add a 0, so you get 0.044. Okay, that is your decimal. To write it as a fraction would be 44 over, and this is the 10th, 100th, 1000th spot. Okay, 4 goes into both of those. 4 goes into 44 11 times. 4 goes into 1,000 250 times. And that does not reduce any farther, and that is your fraction. Okay, so we're going to write proportions of percents. First, I'm going to break it down for you. Of means of whole. Okay, it's talking about the whole. Talking about the whole. Sorry. Bad handwriting. And then is means it's talking about the percent. The number in percent. The percent. The number and its the number that is represented by this percent is represented by the percent. So the proportion of the percent is always over 100. So 25 over 100 equals. And 100 is the whole. Obviously the top is the percent. Then our whole in this case is 40. What we don't know is the number. So we cross multiply here. You could also reduce. This reduces to 1/4. End up with 40 equals 4x. Divide by 4 and you get x equals 10. Okay, now we don't know the base on this one. Again, the percent can always be written over 100. Of says that x is our whole. Is says that it's the number represented by the percent. We can reduce this again to 1/4. Cross multiply and you get x equals 40. This one says we don't know the percent this time, so x over 100 would represent the percent proportion. And then 40 is our whole. 10 is the number represented by the percent. We cross multiply. We could also reduce this to 1/4 first. Get 4x equals 100. X equals 25%. Okay, this one, 30 is 60% of what number? So, 60 over 100 is our percent. It says 30 is, so 30 would be our top, and the number, we want the whole number because we're trying to find of what number, so that would mean that of and what number would tell us that we have not found our whole yet. We can reduce this with one, we can knock one of those zeros out, and we would end up with 6 times x equals 10 times 30 is 300. Divide by 6, x equals 50. So 30 is 60% of 50. Find 30% of 120. Well, 30 over 100 is our percent side. The other side would be, well, we don't know what we're finding. Of tells us that 120 is our bottom. We can reduce this over here to 3/10. Cross multiply, we get 10x equals 360. Divide by 10 and x equals 36. Find 40% of 50. 40 over 100 is our percent proportion. Equals, of tells us that 50 is the whole top, so we end up with, cross out one of those, we end up with 200 equals 10x, or x equals 2 when you divide by 10. But x equals 20 when you divide by 10. Last one here. 2 is what percent of 100? Well, 2 over 100 is our ratio side, and we want to know what percent of 100 that is. We want to know what percent that is. So that'd be x over 100. We cross multiply here. We get 200 equals 100x. Divide by 100, and you get x equals 2%.